Dude, in 1 hour, well, maybe not in 1 hour, probably 2 hours because it's Congress. We're going to, or the Senate rather, we're going to finally see what's in those Epstein files.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know if America's ready for that.
No, I don't think they are. And honestly, the thing that I kind of wanted to bring up about the Epstein files and stuff like that is just the fact of it's kind of strange that the Democrats chose now to put Trump in cahoots with Epstein, right? Because think about it. If Trump was really in cahoots with Epstein, like for instance, if he was actually like, abusing underage girls and doing all these different things, right? Biden would have known that, and Biden would have used that against him.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Like, it's just common sense.
It would make sense.
Yeah. Because, like, if the information was already out there, because Jeffrey Epstein he died in 2017, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, 2017, 2018,
Yeah.
something like that. So we already had all this information before, so Biden or Kamala could have came out at any point and been like, hey, Trump's a pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
But they never did. Why? Because
I would say there's a lot in there that's going to shake certain people in America.
Oh, 100%.
There's a lot in there that could be harming to corporate interest on both sides of the aisle. 100%. I don't think either side wants those files to come out.
No.
There's a lot of things in them that we can look at and could ruin careers, could ruin families.
I mean, it's already ruined some.
And
with the 20,000 documents that were released last week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you already see so many different people being fired from their positions, senior level positions, because they're associated in some way.
Yeah, I think there's enough in there that's going to be damaging to both political parties, and it should be, and they should be held accountable. I don't think there's anything in there that's going to indict Trump and anything more than that people are already trying.
No.
And if there is, he should face those consequences. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't see why that would have been held back.
No.
Because political parties will use anything to attack
literally
each other.
anything.
And if there was something incriminating towards a future, let's just say there was something about Gavin Newsom and he might run for president.
Yeah.
Trump would release it now because it would ruin him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they would fight tooth and nail to ruin each other. I don't think there's going to be anything like that.
No.
Corporate wise, I think we're going to see heads roll if there's corporations where there's people that are high level and are tied to not just being an associate, because you got to understand he rubs shoulders with the highest of high. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that person he rubs shoulders with is guilty of anything.
No.
Because when you're in those circles, everybody bumps into each other.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's just the fact of, like, for instance, you separate someone like Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase Bank and JP Morgan, right? Mm-hmm. He was not in cahoots like on Epstein's Island or something, but he worked with Epstein all the time because he was a financier.
Yeah.
But he's not dirty. Why? Because
just doing money.
Well, he was just doing money. He was just doing business. So it's just like, how does that? So like here you have the CEO of JP Morgan and Chase basically more involved with Jeffrey Epstein than Trump ever was.
Yeah.
And no one's calling him out,
Well, and I think you're going to see, I'm really curious to see what happens with the Clintons. There's a lot there. If it's innocent, it's innocent. But if it's not, accountability needs to be happening.
And knowing the Clintons, I don't know.
And I don't want to. So when it comes to conspiracy theories and stuff, they're fine and they're worth talking about.
Yeah.
But everything's got to be rooted in evidence.
Oh, definitely.
Evidence
100%.
is going to be what matters here the most.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is too broad to worry about the conspiracy theories. Now, I think there's conspiracy theories about this that we know are true. We know Epstein did not kill himself. All right.
Yeah.
Epstein definitely, if he did hang himself, it wasn't necessarily because of him. It would have been because someone
someone higher up. Yeah.
someone's going to hurt your family, your cousin, or whoever.
I mean,
if you don't
don't
off yourself.
When you look at the time stamps, right,
Mm-hmm.
of when Jeffrey Epstein was brought to the prison and when he was found dead, right? There's so many different missing pieces that was like, okay, this was definitely manipulated.
Absolutely.
I mean, the people who were supposed to guard him, like, they literally were just playing cards in the back.
Yeah.
Like, literally just playing cards in the back. Like, hey, make sure.
Sense.
Here we have a billionaire who has all this dirt on all these other potential billionaires or influential people. You guys should watch him. Now we're just going to play cards.
Yeah. And whether someone went in and did it or he did it himself because he was semi-forced to, with what could happen to people outside of that prison that he knew.
Exactly.
Either way, it's not clean.
Yeah.
And there's enough there that we can draw that. When these files get released, we have to be careful not to drag people who are just finance people or people who rub shoulders, for one weekend and didn't know anything. We have to be careful. Those files have to be released. So we have to rebuild public trust in some shape or form in the government.
The biggest thing is that I personally think, no matter what political side you're on, I personally think releasing the files in general was selfish, because all you want to do is just find political dirt on each other, but you're not even considering the people who were abused, the people who were hurt, and the people whose lives were ruined.
Yeah.
And all of that evidence, as Kash Patel said, Kash Patel was talking about this a little bit a couple months ago, before they even talked about releasing anything. He was talking about the fact of, like, if we start releasing stuff, then all these different all these different investigations that are happening, he said, like, some, like, in the 2,000 investigations just from the Epstein doings and stuff like that. And he basically said, well, if we release this, all of those investigations would be non-void.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
it's the same thing with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
A lot of people are asking questions, and I get it. We should ask questions.
Yeah.
You can't ask questions without proof or evidence, or at least saying that this is a theory. A lot of people are presenting things as fact as they're not.
Yeah.
As they're asking questions, and I get that. But Kash Patel, as he said, there's certain things that he said that were counteractive or counterintuitive, or just counter to what evidence showed.
Exactly.
One of the things we talked about earlier is they're talking about the gun being broken down. There's no way that gun was broken down.
No.
And there's things like that were just, you came out with evidence a little too quick, because you're trying for transparency,
exactly,
but you also might have missaid something.
Yeah.
With Epstein, they said, when we get in office, we're going to release him day one. The words day one should have never been used.
No.
It should have been, we're going to release him. There's a process to go through these things. Pam Bondi should have never said, I have a folder on my desk. She probably had a folder on her desk, but the folder didn't have much in it.
Well, I mean, there's no way you had 30-some, maybe 200,000 some files on your desk.
There's been a lot of foot and mouth, instead of just releasing what can be released and releasing it in the right way for the American people.
I think this is the problem, right? Because with those empty promises, like, oh, on day one, we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, Trump said, within 7 hours, I'm going to have Ukraine and Russia sign a peace agreement. I'm like, okay. I don't care how great of a negotiator you are. That's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that I don't like how both sides, not so much the Republicans, but both sides too.
Yeah.
They both treat the American people like children.
Yes.
And it's like, just, I don't care how boring the truth is. You don't have to glamour it up.
No.
Just tell us what's going on.
We've talked, and I said, I long for the days. Now, this was before my time. I'm not that old.
Yeah.
But I long for the days of Walter Cronkite just reading the facts and make up your own opinion.
Yeah.
And the American people are lazy when it comes to our news, including me. I've gotten better, and I'm getting involved to where I'm reading my news. Not necessarily, I don't watch news. I think watching news is a poison to the mind on both sides.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't like, if I watch something, it's because like something crazy is going on and I want live coverage. Other than that,
one of the things I like to do is I like to watch interviews with people who are actually involved in it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not going to take YouTubers or influencers' opinion on what happened to Charlie Kirk.
No.
But what I want is like the Sean Ryan interview where he interviews the head guy for for the detail that was watching him, the security detail.
You
That's
told me about
super
that tonight.
important.
I'm like, I really want to go watch that now because I'm just like, so many people have been commenting on Charlie Kirk's death, on the problems surrounding it, on the security problems surrounding it. But finally, we're getting the actual people involved.
Yeah, I think that's something that everybody who wants to know what really went down
Exactly
needs to watch that.
And you know, one of the things too that I think people forget is that Charlie only died like
2 months.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like they're still going through stuff.
Yep.
And it's just the fact of just like, why do we get the American people? A friend of mine always says the American people get bored.
Yeah.
That if we don't get an answer or something else,
Feels like 6 months ago.
Yeah, it does feel like 6 months ago. Like we genuinely get bored, whether it be like foreign wars or whatever, like Ukraine, Russia. Like there's so many times when I'm like, oh yeah, that's going on still.
Yeah.
Like it's
and it's in its second presidency. A lot of people, they look at Russia and Ukraine, and I'm like, that started under a different president.
Mm-hmm.
While Trump is doing what he can't fix the world's problems. He's trying to fix ours. I'm not saying he is fixing ours, but that's and the same thing with Biden. Politically, I might not agree with a president, but I want them to succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the American way. Whether it's Democrat, Republican, we want them to succeed.
Well, I mean, there was many times when Biden, especially Biden, thought that he was helping, but then Mike Johnson would sit down with him and be like, "Hey, you signed this different deal or whatever," and then he'd be like, "I didn't sign that." And he'd be like, "Yeah, you did." And so like Biden was just given all these different orders, and he's just like, "Okay, I'll sign them, whatever."
I think what hurts is we all know we were lied to. Republican 100%. Or Democrat, the United States was lied to about 100%. His cognitive ability towards the end.
Exactly, because like the thing is, when I think of Joe Biden, I don't get mad at him.
No.
I get mad at the administration, the people behind it who lied to the American people every single day instead of caring for Joe Biden.
Well, first off, I don't think it's worth Americans' time to get mad at politics.
No.
Politics is part of our lives, yes.
Mm.
But what happens in Washington doesn't affect you as much as what happens in your local politics.
Yeah,
and yet
true.
Americans are too lazy to go in on both sides to cast a vote or to research what's going on in their local politics. So getting mad at politics makes zero sense.
It doesn't, no. It doesn't.
I think both sides need to sit down and have conversations like this. I have as many problems with the Republican Party as I do the Democratic Party. One of the things I struggle with, which one of your guests mentioned, I think it was your first episode, was, the Republicans don't do well with social things.
No.
And they miss that, as a lot of people use faith to guide their politics, like Pastor Chris was on your first episode. We have to have a heart for people, and people do need help. But we're too busy being mad about things, and it's ridiculous. True. And you see that what's going on right now in Washington. And that's on everything from Epstein to Charlie Kirk. Everybody has to have a side instead of saying, this is just, we need to talk.
I mean, you look at the shutdown, I think that was the epitome of hate.
On both sides.
Because here you have, we're going to hold, I think the stats are like 42 million people in America are on SNAP.
Yes.
We're going to hold 42 million people hostage just because I hate this senator or just because I hate this Congress.
So John Fetterman became probably my favorite political person of all time. Even though I am not a registered Democrat, I loved Fetterman saying this is stupid. He had common sense.
Yeah.
And he can't be bought. We were talking about that other day. What are you gonna bribe that man with? A black hoodie? That's what he loves. And he could afford to buy that himself. Yeah. I like Fetterman. I don't know. I've never voted, for a Democratic senator. I might,
He's because at the end of the day, I might not agree with every position he stands with, but like as a senator, as someone who represents Pennsylvania, I would vote for him because he represents who Pennsylvania is, which is like I would argue Pennsylvania is the perfect example of the moderate American, like. People, even like people out in rural Pennsylvania, like where you're from, right?
Yeah.
In Lancaster, or not in Lancaster.
I'm Lancaster County, but
Lancaster County. It's just the fact that like we're not like most people are not bothered by every single little political thing.
No.
In Pennsylvania, we're bothered by the fact that it has to become so so charged up,
Polarized.
like, polarizing, and all these different things. Because at the end of the day, what do we want? We just want lower taxes. We want road taxes.
We want
roads that fit.
If you have never been to
actually
Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania has the worst roads. I travel all over the country for my job. Pennsylvania's roads are horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we have to replace tie rods on our cars like every 2 to 3 years because the roads are that.
I had to replace both of mine.
Yeah, and
this summer.
You know, I'm originally from Florida, and I moved out of Florida in 2008. And I remember the years in 2000, 2004, 2002. You know, Florida was kind of that mix where it could go Republican or Democrat.
Yeah.
It was kind of that tilt. Now, it's not that way now. And I've been gone since 2008. And I look at Pennsylvania, and I'm like, it's the same thing. It's half and half. It really is. We have a Democrat governor, but we voted for President Trump. So it's one of these things where Pennsylvania is a really good litmus test for a lot of the nation on what's going on. And it's odd because I left Florida and I was like, oh, I'm going to get out of this, you know, at least I'll know which way my state is going to go. And then I'm up here and it's like, it can go either way.
It could go either way. Oh, I mean, the entire Rust Belt is basically like that.
Yeah. And it's
like,
turning into that. I would not be shocked to see states that are Republican kind of get 50-50. I wouldn't be shocked to see even New York, you know, especially with what's going on in the city there and what's possibly coming. We don't know.
Exactly. Did you hear the Texas governor Abbott? He wants to put a tariff on people who move to Texas from New York.
I mean, and that's one of those things you laugh at, but then what if it actually happens? What's that mean for Texas? What's that mean for people?
I would think it would be unconstitutional.
I think it could be. I'm not 100% sure. I
don't know.
I'm not a constitutionalist.
I think
much as I should be.
It's just hilarious to think about.
Well, I think what most people need to realize when watching politics is there's a lot of people in politics that are saying stuff just for clicks, just to get on the news.
Exactly.
I'm going to put tariffs on this person, or things that Trump says, which most of the time are pretty hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Some people
I feel like half the things Trump says like is literally just a distraction from what he's really doing.
Yeah,
and like that, because like if I can distract them with like making something controversial, like posting Chuck Schumer with his sombrero on social media.
That was Hakeem Jeffries that had the sombrero.
Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries. If I could post Hakeem Jeffries with the sombrero, then they'll lose their mind over here while I'm doing this thing over here.
Well, I would say the same thing happened when he said we're going to turn the beach in Gaza into like a resort, and people freaked out. And that's not what's really going to happen.
No, it's not.
A lot of it is just to get people
to
lose their mind.
I mean,
we were talking about shock value in politics and how that is counterproductive to having real conversation.
Exactly. I mean, like I'm reminded of this one video. I don't remember who posted it. It was like have you ever watched the Jubilee channel? YouTube channel?
No.
They have like a group of people. They're like, oh, like it'd be like Muslims versus Christians, and they talk about or debate and stuff like that. It was kind of like one of those YouTube channels. And they were talking about these 30 congressmen, congresswomen who were leaving Congress because they can't stand the polarization. Because they originally got, and they interviewed him in this, they originally got in to just serve the people. And that was their intention. And they genuinely feel like they can't.
Yeah.
And so what has happened, though, is that those 30 congressmen and women, they left. They just said, I'm not even going to try again, because they all wanted to see change in Congress, changing all these things, because they even admitted when the cameras turn off, everyone acts different.
Yeah. And that's an unfortunate reality for America. It's not fair for the people to be losing good people out of Congress. And the Senate. It's just one of those things where if we're losing people that actually want to help, we're getting people who then are just trying to profit, and that's not good.
No.
When it comes to what's going on in the Senate, it's ridiculous that they, let's turn the cameras off. Let's go in a back room or have a talk. No, do it in front of the American people. I don't think any deal, Republican or Democrat, should be dealt with in the back room.
No. Unless it's like a threat to national security.
Yeah, I mean,
you should do it all in the open.
You talked about the shutdown and 42 million people and honestly, there's probably not 42 million people that need SNAP, and that needs to be looked at.
Exactly.
I mean, our whole federal government needs to be audited.
It does.
And
and that's the problem, though, because I mean, granted, Elon Musk legally can't like be a part of the administration for however many
50 days
yeah,
or
50
something like
days or
that.
something like that, which is like, who cares?
But why is it up to Elon Musk to come in and do that? Why
Well, that's
couldn't
the
our
problem.
government
Like,
be accountable
yeah,
to them?
like why does it take Mr. Rocket Man over here
Yeah.
to come and say just something common sense,
And then
something
he
that
asked-
some people should actually use,
And then he's being attacked for it too.
it's
Like the dude's
we're
not
going to
for
burn down your
government.
Tesla centers because you want to.
Yeah,
The
let's
government.
just give him more insurance money because they're insured. It's not really going to hurt them.
Did you see? Tesla plans to pay him $1 trillion.
I mean,
Isn't that insane? He'll be the first trillionaire.
he's almost
Technically,
there
the first
already
trillion.
without them paying him that.
Literally.
It-
But I just
it's-
think it's crazy.
There's always been rich people, and there always will be rich people. People want to say, let's go down the path of socialism and distribute that. And in socialism, there's still rich people. And there are rich people who are unaccounted for. And the people in power.
the oligarchy.
the-
And I would rather
oligarchy.
have a bunch of billionaires than an oligarchy.
Yeah.
Like-
Because then the chasm becomes even wider, and you
Exactly.
can't vote them out.
No,
You know,
because they're
it's
just
one of
like
those-
they're just static beings. I mean, like you think of the same way. I mean, all of these different federal workers, they're not accountable to the American people. They, like a good example is like if you're a deputy in the CIA, like you're not elected in.
Yeah.
You're there for years.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, I don't like the president now, but I'm going to be here forever, basically, until I retire.
It's term limits on senators and congressmen. Absolutely. We have it for presidents. I don't understand why we don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with Supreme Court judges being lifetime, whether it's Republican or Democrat. I think it can stack one way or the other. I don't have a problem if it was 10-year terms. I mean,
Yeah.
longer terms, I get that.
I mean, that's what we have here in Pennsylvania. We have 10-year terms for Supreme Court judges in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we just voted on
every-
5 of them in our last election.
Well,
was it 4?
All of them were retained.
Yeah, yeah.
That,
But at least we got a voice in it.
exactly. Yeah, we have a voice in it either way. I mean, like, and that's the thing too. As you said before, like the influence that you have over your local politics matters more in a lot of different ways than like who's the next president.
Mhm.
I mean, granted, doesn't matter. Yeah, sure, but the thing that's going to affect your property taxes, the things that's going to affect your neighborhoods is your local government.
Well, a lot of Republicans want to complain about schools, but
Then
they don't
go and run on the school
Then
board.
why are you not voting on a school?
Exactly. It's really ridiculous. I mean, Joe LaRusso, who was running for controller of Chester County, unfortunately he lost. And he did a great run. I mean, he was like the guy who was trying to send a message to the people of Chester County, being like, "Hey, listen, we need to get our act together because property tax is going up 13%."
Yeah.
It's like insane. So
I'm glad
he
I live
tried
in
to lead
Chester.
the charge with that, and I hope that he like stays involved and stuff like that because I really want to see him either as controller someday or something like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is that as he said, right? He said that at the end of the day, people want change, but they won't run for school board.
Yeah.
It's like,
Me and you have both mentioned, like, we're not overly political people.
no.
We will talk about politics. We will get involved if we have to. And it's getting to the point now where we both kind of have mentioned that, well, maybe I should run for city council. Maybe I should consider being on. I live in East Earl. We don't have a mayor. We have a council. And I know the head of the council, Nelson Groff, wonderful man. But eventually some of these guys are going to retire, and maybe I should run to try to replace one of them eventually.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I'll even do that. I might not.
Yeah.
But
just
those
the
are things
point-
like you have to be willing, if you feel like you need a change, you have to be willing to step out. It's your children. It's your neighborhood.
Exactly.
You know, President Trump doesn't have the jurisdiction or the want to micromanage East Earl, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to.
He
It's
doesn't-
going
he
to be
doesn't-
the school council.
We know,
It's gonna
like
be the
anyone in the federal government doesn't care what's happening in East Earl,
no.
Chester County, wherever. They don't care. They're concerned about the power they have now.
Yep.
And that's all that matters.
And how to keep it.
And how to keep it. Yeah, that's the hard part for them. And the thing is too is that like I was watching a video by Hillsdale College today, and it was talking about the fact of so many people like you and me feel like, man, if I don't start doing something for our republic and start to run for something and start to let my voice be heard, whether it be like this or whether it be actually running in politics or whether it be just being a figure in my community and standing up for what's right, like that's literally the only way to keep a republic from falling into this nothingness.
I like the words you used. We need to continue to use that word republic instead of democracy.
Oh yeah.
People don't understand that what's coming out of schools nowadays, or even colleges, or even the younger millennial, weren't taught that it's a constitutional republic. They've always heard the word, we're in the Middle East spreading democracy, or whatever we were doing over there, and all these things we were doing. We need to remember we're a republic. And if we lose a republic, we become England. We become majority rules. We become that, well, just because all these cities, and this is happening in Canada, you have places like Ottawa and in Ontario that are high concentration, and then you have the provinces, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and everything are pulling away, going, you guys are abusing us. You're abusing our work and our natural resources.
Listen,
I'm
hoping they become the 51st state.
I've been actually watching. There's a couple people up in Canada that they do podcasts and stuff like that, and they're very popular.
Because
I would have to
watch
send
the
it to
same
you.
person.
I don't remember.
By the way, Canadian politics is so weird.
It's
so
insane.
weird.
It is insane. It's like the Wild West,
It is.
especially out in the provinces. But there is a distinct possibility that whether they join America or not, we have no idea.
Whether or not.
But there's a distinct possibility, and they are filing paperwork to try to pull away. And they feel like their voices aren't heard.
No,
and that's because of a democracy, not a republic.
Exactly.
And that is a danger to America as much as anything else if we forget that we're a republic.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, we are electing people to represent us. We're not ancient Greece going to the Capitol, however many, like 2 million of us going to Greece to vote on legislation. Like, that's not reality. Would it be good if it were that way? No, because it would be total chaos.
Yes,
truly total chaos. There is a reason why our republic has lasted this long. It's the Great American Experiment, and there's, like, for instance, when parties and complete different factions of political systems literally trade off peacefully every 4 years, and that is something we take for granted. Like, you could not imagine that anywhere else in the world, basically, especially now.
And even with America as divided as it is, we still do that. And we need to come together. We need to understand that we can disagree and still be polite to each other. I have family that I disagree with on politics. I was just talking to your lovely wife before, and there's people in your family that you can disagree with, but we're going to come around the table at Thanksgiving, and we're going to love on each other.
Yeah.
Because politics does not supersede family.
Yeah. Politics doesn't create how I feel about you.
No.
Like, how I feel about you is totally different because I see you as a person of value, of a person of, like, different attributes, whether it be like someone who is honest, someone who's kind, someone who's this. I don't look at you and be like, oh, you're a liberal, so therefore you're this, therefore you're that. Like, so what if you're a liberal? I'm still going to love you.
I one of the things that I struggle with when it comes to politics is, I have 3 children, so I struggle with the thought of abortion. A lot of people struggle with that.
Same.
But just because I'm sitting across from someone who views differently doesn't mean I dislike that person. It means I don't agree with your political stance on it, and we're not going to come to terms on that.
No.
But you're still a human.
Exactly.
And you're still an American, and war happens, we will fight together. And that's the way it needs to be. Political discourse is going to happen. It's what made Charlie Kirk's assassination so hard. It wasn't that I agreed with everything Charlie Kirk said or everything that he did. I struggled with the fact that someone was talking to people and they were snuffed out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing that a lot of people do. Let's talk.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat. If you're a Democrat out there and you're speaking at public campuses, you have every right to do that, and you have every right to be safe.
Exactly.
Same as a Republican. And political violence never accomplishes anything. It's been proven throughout history that it doesn't work. And
I mean, like, even though it's like on the other side of the world, in completely different context, you look at Gandhi.
Mm-hmm.
He never used political violence.
Yeah.
And he not only got the British crown to agree to terms to let India be independent, but he also accomplished tons more. And like, people want to say things about his character. I don't care about his character. But the point is that he was able to change the minds of a country on the other side of the world just from simply being.
A lot of people put character, don't get me wrong, I vote character a lot.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important. But if I voted only character, I would have never pulled a lever for Trump.
No, same.
I had to look at policy.
Exactly.
I don't think Trump's a good person. I never have thought he was a good person. I have massive issues with the way he has held his personal life. I also have massive issues with Bill Clinton and his personal life.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to hold Bill Clinton accountable, I need to hold Trump accountable.
Exactly.
But policy-wise, there's certain things I can't cross.
No.
And there's a lot of people that need to understand that there are people on the Democratic side, on policy-wise, they feel they can't cross. And so as we both are at an impasse, we need to be able to have a conversation and be respectful.
Yeah. I mean,
doesn't mean we're going to change each other's mind.
No, it doesn't mean that. But I think that there is a sense of, like a good example is this, right? One congressman was talking about the fact, like, I'm not going to be able to change any of my Democrat colleagues about abortion, right? Right. But you know what I can change? There's this one, he was like sharing like one minute example of like, oh, I really want to be able to give chicken farmers the subsidy for something. I don't know what it was. But the point is that he had a passion to be able to get specifically chicken farms this resource, right? And he was able to find one of his Democrat colleagues and be like, hey, we actually have something in common and we should try to like go ahead and try to pass this. And they agreed. And like, those are the type of compromises that need to happen in our nation, though.
Absolutely.
Like, we all want economic stability. We all want like affordability. Like, we have a huge affordability crisis, and I think conservatives play it down, and I think even liberals play it down. And liberals actually hope it gets worse just so that the other political side fails. It's like, why would you wish that upon all of the country? It's like,
I would say
wild.
The 10% on the left, yes.
So,
but let's just say you have someone like Bill Maher, who has been calling out his own party left and right. But then on the Republican side, we need to do the same. We have crazy people on the Republican side, just as the Democratic side has crazy people. We always say there's 10% on each side that are absolutely insane. Literally. And we need to, if we're going to poke holes in the Democratic Party, we need to poke holes in our own party.
Yeah, exactly.
And we need to take an introspective and we need to look, hey, this congressperson is somewhat insane. Okay, we need to make sure that person's not reelected.
Exactly.
Because it hurts the party. The Democrats need to do the same thing.
Exactly.
And you can't apply one thing to one party and not apply it to your own. That's unfair and that's un-American.
I think the problem is that people get into the mindset of, sure, they're extreme, but they're going to be able to pass whatever I want. And it's like, that's not true either. Like, there's so many different conflicts of interest with all these different people who present themselves as a very extreme, idealistic individual.
Well, hey, let's put Marjorie Taylor Greene in office, even though she's probably a damaging part to the Republican Party. But it helps us keep control.
Yeah. So we're going to keep
stop worrying about control and worrying about healthy people doing the right thing in Congress.
Exactly. I mean, like, yeah. And I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is a good example. I think all of the I forget what the name the group, what the group is called. They're like all the women that dress as white in white clothes and stuff like that. AOC and a couple of them.
Squad.
The
squad. That's what they call it. Yeah.
So you have the squad over there, and it's like, dude, they're hurting your party.
Yeah,
your party's
and there's people on the other side that are hurting the Republicans.
Exactly. Yeah. So like you have this tension of these political parties who would actually be a lot more moderate without these people.
Well, it would be just like The View. If the Democrats would, if The View was pulled off the air, it would probably be better for the Democratic Party than them being on the air.
Exactly.
And there's certain people on the Republican side too that they have shows and they hurt the Republican Party.
Oh, 100%.
And well, you can't stop free speech. And I'm not saying they should be pulled off the air.
No.
I'm just saying if they weren't, it would be better for them.
Exactly.
Free speech is paramount. You can do or say whatever you want as long as you're not inciting violence.
Exactly.
And people have a right to turn it off. But I wish the American people would just flip the channel or scroll past the YouTube or the TikTok of the crazy person saying crazy things and stop listening to it.
Exactly.
Focus on your local politics and focus on what makes your household better.
Exactly. And I totally agree with that. I mean, I think the main thing is like conflict, watching conflict is addicting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is so easy to be scrolling and then just this crazy scene with like maybe like it's like altercation with cops or something like that. You're just sitting there watching like.
Well, even Charlie Kirk's assassination, it was live. And I never saw the up-close video, thank God. Because as soon as I saw a video from way away, I know, trust me, I heard. And really I saw it from a distance, and I just saw him like fall backwards. And I went, oh my goodness, they shot Charlie Kirk. And I would have said the same thing if it was a Democrat person, anybody.
Literally anyone.
But I got off social media. I was like, I do not want to see what's coming.
No.
Because I don't want to see the loss of life, regardless of whoever it is.
Whoever it is, yeah.
You know,
I mean, like especially when October 7th happened, like all of the gore just posted all over X the day that happened. Like,
so we're gonna go down that rabbit hole. Okay,
yeah,
that's
we're going down that rabbit hole. We're going down the taboo topic that no one wants to talk about.
Israel and Gaza. Well, let me preface this. I am not a political genius at all. I am a standard American male with a family and a regular job. You know, I'm just a guy.
I'm just a guy. I mean, that was the whole idea for this podcast. I'm just a guy.
When it comes to Israel and Gaza, there is just too much one or the other.
100%.
Either one side's right or the other side's right. There's no in between.
It's like
everybody needs to understand these two have been fighting forever.
Literally forever. I mean,
like,
technically,
it is the
technically for thousands of years.
It is the oldest conflict that has never ended. Yeah. And it will continue to be that. No matter what peace agreement has been signed, they will not like each other, and it will eventually boil over again. Now, to say that, me and you have talked multiple times about the Republican Party's unwillingness to criticize Israel, or even the Christian church unwilling to criticize Israel.
Because as soon as you do, you're labeled as woke or liberal.
Or
at least there's the assumption that, oh, well, you don't support Israel at all. Or
well, the Bible says those who bless Israel will be blessed, right?
Yeah.
And while the Bible does say that, the Bible does not
Ted Cruz, it means you have to support the government of Israel.
Okay. So the government, and I really wish we would come up with terms to differentiate this, because when people say Israel or Jew, it means everybody.
Exactly.
People need to understand the state of Israel and the Jewish religion are two different things. While they do intertwine to a certain point, they are two separate entities.
Yeah, yeah.
So when people ask me, do you support Israel? I support Israel as a military ally. I criticize Israel on what they've done and how they've done it.
Yeah.
I do not agree with everything they've done, just like I do not agree the way Gaza and Hamas has handled things.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that the hard part that people misunderstand, right, about Israel and the Israeli military is that because like people like to point out every single little tiny skirmish that Israel was wrong in the past before Gaza.
Absolutely.
This is the problem, though. You can't make an assumption that the entire military is evil just because these few settlements that are radicalized under the Israeli army are evil, right? Because like there's different settlements that Israel has set up in different parts of the Middle East that have done wrong things.
Absolutely.
That have done evil things. But you can't make a blanket statement and say, oh, that means everyone in Israel are evil.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes to the same point with, like, for instance, with 9/11. Like, is every Muslim a terrorist?
Absolutely not.
No, obviously not. And this is the problem that people don't like to look at. Instead of, as you said, you have to. Right now, everyone's like, you have to pick a side.
Yeah.
No, I don't, because the reality is that war is war.
Yeah.
It's not a genocide. You know what is a genocide? The Christians in Nigeria being killed. That's a genocide.
Yes.
And the thing is that have thousands in Gaza died? Yeah.
Just around 60 to 70,000-ish. In that range.
And
it's hard to know exact, but it's in that range.
It's hard to know exactly because the the ministry, the Gaza ministry has said, oh, well, we're going to include the deaths of civilians and military people. So we're not even going to be factual. Obviously, why would a terrorist organization be factual?
We need to look at the numbers and say, first off, the word genocide doesn't apply. It was war.
No.
War is horrible. All right, it's horrible.
Yeah.
I hate the fact anybody died, right? And I know that there will be people on the the right and the left that are going to absolutely trash someone with this opinion. It's horrible. You're talking millions of people live in Gaza. Millions. I think, and if you could correct me, pop it up on the screen if you want. But
1.8 million.
I thought it was like 2.5 in that range. I could be wrong.
Originally, it was 2.5.
Okay.
Now it's a little under 2 million.
60,000 people.
Like that.
And I'm saying this, and I'm not making light of it. That's a football stadium. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, but it's not genocide.
No.
It's horrible. It's horrible what happened on October 7th.
Yeah.
And people wanted to go, well, and there's conspiracy theories that, well, Israel knew when they let them through it. Doesn't matter. They've been fighting for years. Israel has every right to defend themselves. Did they do things wrong? Yes. Should they be held accountable? Yes. Did innocent people die that probably didn't need to die? Yes. And they should be held accountable. But we have to hold Hamas to the same thing. Hamas went into Israel. They killed thousands of people, put babies in ovens, and there is video evidence of this. It's not disputable. Now, as we said, there's conspiracy theories. You have to set those aside. Yeah, this was an action, and here's a reaction.
Exactly.
And people want to say, well, it's horrible. Yes, it is.
It is.
Japan attacked us, and we dropped 2 atomic bombs on them.
Yeah.
Did the people of Japan that died from radiation and the force of those bombs deserve that? No. But in war, horrible things happen.
They do.
And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly.
As we talked earlier, who do we blame? You even said the UN. And I'm like, there is more to blame than Israel or Hamas.
Exactly.
There is dozens of countries around there that are to blame. The UN is to blame. The U.S. can be partially blamed.
Exactly.
Everybody can be blamed.
Here, as you did earlier, here's Biden.
Yeah. Well, and people need to understand, like, that happened under a Biden administration.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying he caused it at all, but when it happened, what was our response?
It was just like,
well,
okay.
And
yeah,
it's one of these things. Horrible things happen in the world, and people want to pick sides. And the side should be, people are dying, it needs to stop.
Exactly.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I don't care
and
what
side. It became political to the point that you're not allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah. And what kind of got me was when Biden was in office, the Democrats were, sticking up for Israel very much so. And then as Trump became in office, that kind of waned, and then the Republican, and it swung.
Yeah.
And stop politicizing it. People are dying. This should have been solved a long time ago.
It should have been.
But weak leadership in both parties have let it happen.
Yep.
And it's not fair to the people over there.
No.
There are thousands of people who are still suffering. And we talked about our news cycle and how it's just pushing quickly. And things turn over and we forget. Okay, they signed a peace agreement. There is still millions of people struggling for food.
Yep.
Millions.
I mean, the satellite images of before and after of Gaza is insane.
Well, you have to think. Precision strikes with bombs are going to level buildings.
Oh yeah.
Look at Germany in World War II and look at the pictures after.
It was leveled.
It was leveled.
Literally leveled.
War levels areas. If anybody thought what was going to happen in Gaza was not going to level Gaza, they have no idea how war works.
And that's the other thing too, though, is that, like, as you said, war's terrible, but war is war. Yeah. Like, people die. There are consequences. It's not a skirmish.
No.
It's not a 2-day like fight or something like that. It's a real problem. And so
my grandfather was 101st Airborne in World War II, and he survived. He was shot multiple times. Like he has stories, and he passed away when I was in 2002. I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
And the stories he would tell of just towns leveled, people on the side of the road begging for food. I mean, we have video. It's grainy and it's not 4K, but we have video of what was going on. And it's not just in America that the American war. Go over to wars over in China. Go over to wars in Japan. Go to the Philippines. Every time there's a war, people suffer, which is why war should be always the last option.
It should be.
And people don't want to accept that. Well, we have war crimes. You know, there's YouTubers out there. They say it's only a war crime the first time, and it's only the victors can get away with things.
Yeah.
All right. So if we look at World War II, Canada wrote half the Geneva Convention. It's Canada's atrocities in World War II are legendary through the military. Like, they did horrible things. They put plots of food out to lure German soldiers out and then shot. Like, you can't do that.
No, it's insane.
But in war, horrible things happen. Exactly. Towns will be leveled, and the loss of life is always going to be painful.
Well, and I think the problem is too is that, like, I think people get into a mindset that, like, somehow the UN, this ambiguous entity that literally doesn't really have any power at all, has some type of authority in anything. Because, like, the problem is that you have all these countries, quote unquote, agreeing to meet, and nothing gets done. Because why? Countries are autonomous.
Yeah.
We aren't a giant world trying to look look out for the embetterment of humanity. That's not reality.
The UN,
and I don't think people understand that.
The UN was created so wars can happen and nobody would be blamed. It was a coalition of people who did this. Well, it's not the United States went in and attacked. It was a coalition from the UN went in and attacked, right? So the UN was created for, plausible deniability for a lot of different countries to get away with things. I think the UN's a waste of time. It's a waste of money.
It is.
But it's a reality. It's there. So what do you do with it now? And the UN is a problem. It's a problem for American security. It's a problem for Ukrainians. It's a problem for Russia. People want to just look at Russia and Ukraine and blame Russia. Ukraine is the most corrupt place on earth.
Yep.
And Russia knew it. And Russia knew it.
Yeah.
And I want the war to end, but I could totally understand why Russia did what they did. Are they wrong? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, bad leadership bred a war.
It's also like, I think it's really, to me, right? Like, do I think war is good? No, not at all. But anyway, now we're done. We're going to shut off the cameras.
Tread lightly.
I guess this is the thing, though, right? When you look at Russia and Ukraine, the thing that I don't understand is why it even became a political thing in America specifically, right? It's a war.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be?
Why does that be?
Why does that have to be a Republican Democrat thing? Like, it's so stupid. It's like I think we're literally geared towards literally picking a team and then fighting it out.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, because it's just like, oh, well, they're being attacked, so therefore I'm the social justice warrior, so I'm going to go defend Ukraine. Well, I think Putin's kind of based, and so I'm going to go defend Russia. Like, none of it makes sense. None of it does. And it's just like, Russia obviously crossed the line that they were never supposed to cross. And granted, here you have Kamala Harris visiting Ukraine and basically making Russia feel like they had to invade Ukraine. Yes. So, like,
I totally get why Putin did what he did.
Yeah.
Is he wrong? Yes.
Yeah, he's wrong. But, like, I guess this is the problem that people forget is that, like, why does it have to be politicized in America? It's terrible.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be picking a side along with your political coalition.
So that's one of the things
to make yourself feel better or virtue signal.
There's things in the Trump administration I don't like, and there's things I do like. Yeah. I do like the fact that while he has gone into a lot of countries and signed peace agreements or ceasefires or everything, that's great.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that he's kind of outside of dropping some bombs in Iran. He's kept us out of everybody else's business to a certain point instead of interjecting our military. Mm-hmm. What's going on in Venezuela? That's a whole different conversation. I guarantee you we're going there next. But when it comes to Russia and Ukraine, that needs to end because Chernobyl is right there. And I think if you don't know where Chernobyl is, you need to Google it, and you need to see what would happen. Right now, there is a hole in the top of the containment because of a Russian drone blew up a hole in the top of the containment. That is the worst nuclear accident in history, and we're messing around with it by letting Russia and Ukraine fight over it. Are you kidding me? That is a horrible idea.
It's insane.
So it needs to end, and they have over 1 million casualties just on the Russian side. And Russia is known for meat tactics.
Yeah.
Even in World War II, instead of having good equipment, we're just going to throw people at it. And the loss of life has to stop. It has to.
I mean, like you see, talking about throwing people into the meat grinder, you had North Korea trying to send their troops into the battlefield.
I think that was a lesson for North Korea that their troops are not trained.
No, they aren't. I mean, like they were saying, like Ukrainian soldiers on the ground were saying, like they had like World War II tactics still.
They were actually there was reports that they were actually being shot by Russians, or they would shoot, or North Koreans would shoot Russians because they look so similar to Ukrainians. So you have two countries where the people are brothers, and then you're introducing
just some
North Koreans who have no idea how to tell the difference. They see a white dude in a uniform, they're shooting.
And they're going to shoot them. Yeah.
And there's a language barrier. No, but that was a bad idea. And it's sad because at least thousands of North Koreans died needlessly.
Yeah.
And it should never.
And Kim Jong-un was like, well, we're going to pretend we had a victory and go home.
I'm pretty sure it was, hey, it's less mouths to feed. You know, dictators don't care. Dictators don't care about their people.
No, they don't. And have you seen the satellite imagery of what North Korea looks like at night versus South Korea?
You mean it's like looking into a black hole?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no lights except for in the capital.
It's insane. I'm convinced that no one lives anywhere else except for the capital.
There is...
It's like everyone has either died of starvation or something insane, because it's like none of it adds up.
Well, I mean, you could look at China too. The satellite images of China at night, unless you're near a city, is black.
Well, partially... that's because they lied about their population data. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
they lied about their population data, and in reality, there's only about 600 million of them.
Yeah,
not like
which is
1.2 million.
That's about
billion
close to what we are.
Well, no, are we at 350 something like that? Yeah.
So,
but that includes
definitely
foreign nationals and stuff.
Yeah, definitely have more people than us. But if you look over the United States or even Europe, lights are everywhere. Which people turn your lights off at night. Save the electric grid. Winter's coming. We're going to need the power when the snow's too.
We have too many data centers already. Okay,
and not enough nuclear power plants.
Exactly. Yeah. But the thing that I wanted to add before we change subjects was the fact of and the reason why I believe why we can't end the war between Russia and Ukraine is, first of all, it's not even our war right now.
Yeah.
And second of all, I mean, Trump can't even get China to do what he wants right now.
Yeah.
Trump is trying to make so many different deals. I mean, we canceled all the tariffs on them. We did this. We're literally jumping through hoops for China.
Yes.
And then the next week they do the complete opposite.
Yep.
And it's well, obviously they're going to do what is in their best interest. But the reason why we can't get China to strong arm Russia right now is because we can't even get China to do what we want.
Well, I mean, we had years where we just kind of gave them everything they wanted. And we just kind of let them do what they wanted. And it's not America's job to tell China what to do.
No.
I want to preface this. My political standpoint...
But they could have used that as leverage when they were talking about tariffs.
Yeah. My political standpoint when it comes to foreign politics is we should stay out of everybody's business unless it's American business.
Yeah, I agree.
I cannot stand America going into other countries and telling them what to do.
Yeah.
Now, there are cases where you have to. Venezuela is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to China, they have a completely different ideology. And Trump kind of gets this. You know, they have a different culture. We might not like what their culture does, but we can't tell people what to do.
No.
It's not
a completely different world.
We're not the only ones with nukes now, and we used that for a long time, and that was wrong, and we need to get out of that mindset.
Yeah.
When it comes to China, if China gives us 25% tariffs, we need 25% tariffs. I think tariffs should be equal on either side.
Yeah, exactly.
If Canada wants to charge us 25% on aluminum, we're going to charge them 25 too. So that's where people need to understand tariffs aren't a horrible thing.
No.
Every country in the world tariffs the United States. everyone.
Exactly.
Terror
And
stuff.
before this, we weren't doing anything.
And so while
actually
our
handed over.
our retaliation was overboard,
Oh,
we should have been like, hey, if you're going to tariff us 20%, we're going to tariff you 20%. So how about let's just drop the tariffs?
The interesting thing is that when Trump left office, Biden actually kept a lot of the tariffs that he put in place in his first term. Yeah. And that's because why? They make money.
Yeah, they make a lot of money.
You know.
And if he would have only kept the border policies in place, we would have had a lot better 4 years than we did when it came to immigration.
Exactly.
And we wouldn't have people scared like they are now.
Exactly. I mean, and yeah, and that's the thing too. It's just the fact of like, here you have Biden, who basically had an open border policy, but then you go back to Obama, and he literally
was a deporter in chief.
Literally, he deported more people than any other president, including Trump, in both of his terms.
And he deported more than all the presidents combined before him. Combined.
Yeah.
He was a deporter in chief.
And this is the thing that people say. This is the thing that my liberal friends say to me. Oh, but he did it nicely. What are you talking about? He did it literally the same exact way.
The cages were built by Obama.
Exactly.
Right? So when it comes to immigration, I guess we're going to go this way. I sat at my table with a lovely young lady, a girlfriend of a friend of mine, who was talking about immigration, and she's terrified. While she is a citizen, she has family who are not. And so we're talking about this, and I agree to certain points of immigration policy, whereas if you are in the United States and you are a criminal, you need to go. The problem is everybody takes that as you're a criminal because you entered the United States illegally, so therefore that makes you a criminal and you gotta go.
Yeah.
So I struggle. Immigration needs to change.
It does.
They have millions of people in the United States who if we could just get them some papers to make them legal, not citizens, make them legal and get them paying our taxes, paying their taxes.
Well, that's the whole reason.
We would be so much better off.
Well, that's the whole
country.
reason why Trump shouldn't have got rid of DACA.
No.
I mean, that was one of the only things I agreed with Obama.
Yes.
Hey, let's have DACA. We're going to have people work here who are illegal. We're going to give them legal status so they can work here for 2 years. They can build a business if they want. They can do whatever they want, and they pay taxes.
Yep.
So it was actually a great.
So when it comes to immigration, people who have a criminal record not entering the country, take that off the table. All right. If you enter the country illegally, you're here. All right.
Yeah.
But if you have a criminal record in the other country you came from, say you came from Mexico and you have outstanding warrants, you're gone.
Goodbye.
If you're from Honduras, I've been to Honduras. There's a lot of human trafficking that goes on down there. It's horrendous. If you've never been to a third world country, you need to go to understand why people are leaving, but also why you can't have an open border. It's both. You see both.
Yep.
And
this is my opinion. I really think if Congress cares at all about the American people, which they don't, but if they did care, it's all about power, yeah. If they really cared, we would literally trash the entire immigration system and restart from scratch.
It needs to be, if you're here, register with us. And you'll find out real quick. Like the rule is if you register with us and you don't have any priors, criminal record in the other country or in the United States, you register with us, you will get your papers.
Exactly.
You will get legal status.
Exactly.
That does not give you the right to vote. It does not make you a citizen.
But it gives you the right to
you
work.
have the right to work.
You have information. You actually have,
and you pay your taxes.
All these things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the ones who do not register, right then and there's a problem.
Exactly.
They're the ones that are criminals, and they need to go. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand that is more than just a tiny percent. A lot of people that came across the border have nefarious reasons.
Exactly. I mean,
but we have to weed out good people. We cannot punish people who came for a better life.
Yeah.
In horrible situations, and just kick them out. That's too many people.
That literally is too many.
And so she's worried about her uncle who's been here for like 30 years. And she should be. And it's not fair to her. It's not fair to her uncle.
It's not.
But they're also, it's the pendulum. Everybody was allowed in. Now the pendulum's all the way over here when the right thing is kind of in the middle.
Exactly.
And that's the way American politics needs to get, because it's always been, it goes one way, then the other way, but it spends most of the time in the middle.
Oh, it does.
Right now it's spending time on each side and no time in the middle.
True.
Making things better for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think it's hard because it's just like, there's so many layers.
Yes.
to immigration and so many layers to the issue. And to say that you're on fully open border is a lie.
Yeah. Even Democrats are like,
we can't.
yeah, he's kind of right. It's going a lot better.
Exactly.
But they don't want ICE in their cities. And I get that.
Yeah.
I get the whole fight with ICE. Is it right to deploy the military into cities? Is it right to do... These are conversations that need to happen.
Yeah.
Now, I want...
But at the same time,
after...
if you have Tren de Agua in Chicago,
yes,
and you know where they are, I'm going to send them in.
You have to take care of that because you're protecting the people. But then again, like I went to D.C. right after the military went into D.C. and cleaned up D.C. What a difference. And now I've been to D.C. multiple times.
Yeah.
What a difference. But that's D.C. The government has jurisdiction there.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with Chicago and things like that, the people need to be understanding. You can't keep voting people in who do not have your safety.
No.
And you can't... Politics should not allow people to use SNAP and all these other programs as ways to get elected.
Yep.
That's not fair.
It's like
to people because I need money to pay my groceries, and they do. People do need that. But if I vote for this person, I might not get my money, but I'll be safe. But if I vote for this person, I'll get my money.
Then I ain't going to be safe.
But then I'm not going to be safe. It's a catch-22. It's not fair to them.
Yeah. And that's
because
the problem.
It's too political.
All of these different idealisms should have stayed academic.
Yes.
All that crap should have stayed academic. On both sides.
Yeah.
You know what it should be? Like I say this to my wife all the time. I wish I didn't care about politics. Truthfully. Because at the end of the day, I wish politics was boring. I wish I would turn on the TV and they'd be talking about taxes. But the only reason it isn't is because you have idealisms.
Yeah.
You have idealistic choices.
Real politics is actually boring. Real politics.
Oh, real
the nitty gritty, what's actually going on in your local and your state.
Yeah.
And even somewhat in the federal.
That's why I go back and forth about, like, if I do run, am I going to be completely bored out of my mind?
Yeah. Well, the good thing is where I live, it's like a part-time gig because I live in a place with, I think there's like 3,000 people.
So, there you go.
So, and I have a unique perspective because I grew up in South Florida and I grew up in a melting pot and I loved my childhood. I loved growing up there. I wouldn't want to raise kids there. When I left, there was reasons I left. Yeah. But now it's a little different, and I could go back and so far I'd probably melt because it's so high. But growing up there in a multicultural on the coast, everybody's Puerto Rican, Cuban. I remember going into churches. I was the only white guy. It was great. I have zero problem with that. And then I moved up where I live. You know where I live.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody not of color. And it's really odd. I go to the grocery store and I'm like, this is really odd for me. And I've been up here almost 16 years. And I think people need to understand that I grew up, everybody's the same. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Man, my favorite food.
It shouldn't matter.
And some of my best friends growing up are people from Puerto Rico, people from Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that helped shape my politics to a certain point where I'm like, I can vote Republican, but I also like Fetterman. I could vote Democrat for him because I think the people need to be represented by who they are. And that's
so
why we have people.
So far, Fetterman is the only person who seems like he even cares about the people.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And that's saying a lot.
I can't believe I went from someone who criticized him running because if you watch Fetterman now versus when he was running, it's a completely different person. He could barely talk. And his health issues were a major concern as a Pennsylvanian of someone going in who I'm like, he's just got to do what everybody tells him to do because he was in the middle of recovering from a stroke.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Biden as president. I was worried about him being manipulated. And obviously we've seen that it definitely did happen. I was worried about it, but he's recovered so well. And he still has some issues, like he fell last week, and God bless him. Hopefully speedy recovery. I saw he posted a picture. He had 20 stitches.
But rough.
But he's the only one with stinking common sense to the point where he cares about both sides.
I don't even think he sees a side.
No, I think if independent was more, if people were more honest where they stand, more Republicans and more Democrats actually line up in the middle more than anything.
Exactly. Because and this is the thing, right? I think the problem is that you're seeing, or you did see, not so much now, but for the 2024 election, you saw everyone that might have even, not everyone, but like maybe like a fourth or even a sixth of the Democrat Party be like, you know what? I'm not feeling Kamala. I'm going to vote Trump.
Yeah.
Because the Republican Party, at least in 2024, was the populist party.
Well,
it was no longer.
Kamala wasn't relatable.
No, she wasn't.
was
I mean,
fake.
like, okay, think about this.
At least Biden reminded everybody of their grandpa, right? They're like, hey, he's a nice old man. And I guarantee you, Biden actually is probably a really nice old man.
I mean, I
believe he
I know
is.
people who met him and like they're always like, yeah, he's
And
really
so
nice.
I get that because he's a stark contrast to Trump. And people were like, hey, COVID happened. We were in a hole, all this stuff. Let's try something.
We need Grandpa.
We need Grandpa to make us feel better. And you know what? When he got elected, I didn't worry so much. But the last year or so, I really worried because his health declined.
Oh,
Kamala wasn't relatable.
No. I mean, like, okay,
and Trump is more relatable now than he was.
Yeah.
He shut up his mouth quite a bit. He's not saying...
He did, yeah.
He's not saying as crazy.
Is that just because he's older or that...
I think he realizes he didn't get as much done the first term because of his mouth.
Well, that, and then he also trusted everyone he met.
That was a problem. Yeah, we had horrible leadership the first term, especially the first term.
It's like chaos all the time. But the thing is that about Kamala, right? I think Kamala would have won if this, right? As you said, she wasn't relatable. So if she would have been relatable, maybe. But the biggest thing I think that she did was shoot herself in the foot. She had people. Part of it, I don't even blame her for losing because her campaign managers were nut jobs, literal nut jobs. I mean, here you have people who were incapable, and she trusted them with her whole campaign. And it's insane because think about this: you have the chance to be on Joe Rogan,
and you say
set your side, and you say no. Yeah. And you say, "Oh, we'll only do if it's scripted."
Well, that's why Trump won. We went on Andrew Schultz, I forget, was it the Flagrant podcast?
Yeah,
he went on Theo Vaughn.
He went on Joe Rogan. He went on so many.
He won the places. Younger male vote.
He did, yeah.
And what was it? 78% of women voted for Kamala, or it's in the upper 70s.
Exactly.
I could be off.
You know, the other thing that she did that she shot herself in the foot for. She could have had RFK.
Yeah.
Because RFK went to her first.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, if you give me the chance to do my Maha thing, like make America healthy.
Which we need.
Which we do need. I think it's great.
He's like, Harry, I hoped he would have been in as secretary for a Kamala or Trump.
Exactly.
Because while I don't have to agree with his politics, we are sick because of our food.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you don't think we are.
Hey, and now, I was going to say, now you have Coca-Cola using real sugar, which is like, what were they using before?
Yeah. There's a lot of things. If my wife was here, man, she would be so proud of me right now. There's a lot of things in our food that need to change. A lot of things. And not just in our food, in our pharmaceuticals. Why are we giving, we cannot keep medicating our way out of a hole. We need to get healthier. And, you know, I'm 6'4", 230. I need to be like 215. I know that, but you know, I'm not going to medicate myself out of it. I need to eat healthier.
Yeah. Or Ozempic. Just
and tell me if you've seen anybody who's lost a lot of weight using those and they look healthy. They don't look healthy.
No.
I
don't trust it.
Back to RFK. Yeah, she shot herself in her foot not having RFK.
Yeah, because RFK was
or Tulsi Gabbard. Like, how can you have two people?
Did you see that the Democrats labeled her as a terrorist?
Yeah.
So they literally, so the Justice Department under Biden was investigating
was in the army
for being a terrorist?
Yeah.
I was like,
a patriot.
What are you talking about?
Now, when she ran for president in 2016, or was it 2020 she ran? She ran one of the 2 years.
2016, yeah.
I just remember her and said...
Not 2020, sorry.
Yeah, it might have been 2020.
Yeah.
I just remember seeing her and going... I would vote for her as a Republican. I was like, how is she not the face of your party?
Exactly.
And now she's you know, what was it? What is her position? NSA, yeah, National Security Advisor. I would never put money on that. Or RFK being a Democrat in the Trump administration.
Yeah.
And Trump was smart to do that.
Yeah.
He was smart to bridge the gap with independents because that's what won independents over.
Exactly.
Where, wait a minute, there's Democrats on stage with him. that I view myself as one of them. Like they're not all the way to the left.
Exactly.
They're the Clinton Democrats is what a lot them. Like to call
Literally.
the mid-90s Democrat. Bill Maher is one of them, and he criticizes his party the whole time.
I'm so glad he
hasn't changed his position.
No,
he is still exactly where he was.
But he's waking up to the fact that there's radicals that need to be basically put.
They're hurting it. They're hurting the party. They're hurting America. They're more than anything else.
100%. And well, same thing with the Republican Party. You have Nick Fuentes, this rabid racist. And Tucker Carlson's like endorsing him basically. And I'm just like, what a bunch of crap.
I don't know a lot about Nick Fuentes, or
I know too much.
I know where he stands on some things, and he has every right to ask questions on certain things. And so does Tucker Carlson. Yeah. He has every right to interview Putin, to interview a Nick Fuentes, to interview.
You don't have him. I don't see a problem with him interviewing
with him doing that.
I have a problem with him interviewing Nick Fuentes because I guess this is the thing, right? Yes, freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
Hurrah, yay.
But if you're going to be a freedom of speech, he has the right to do it. I have every right not to watch it.
Exactly. That's why I didn't watch it.
So when it comes to that, you have to pick. Yeah. And do I believe in free speech 100%? Then he has every right. Oh, and I have every right to turn the channel or scroll.
Well, I mean, the same thing on the left. You have the right to go take an American flag and burn it in the streets. Mm-hmm. In any other country, you'd get shot.
Well, and there are certain things I don't understand. I believe there's a law that says you can't burn an Israeli flag in America.
Yeah, which is
but you can burn an American flag, and so and that right there fuels anti-Semitism when you can do that to an Israeli flag, but you can't do that to an American or vice versa. Yeah. That doesn't help. No, you can't have certain rules for certain groups, but not for your own country.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something, too, that I think we should talk about, too, is just the fact of just, like, you have this anti-Semitism that has just been flamboyant on both sides.
Oh, boy.
Totally rampant. I mean, you have these based younger Gen Z guys. You know the term based.
Yeah, I was just at dinner with someone who would fit into that category.
Yeah.
And to them, I say this: we have every right to criticize Israel.
Yeah,
we have every right to criticize America. If we see something wrong, we should call it out.
Yeah,
we talked about this a little bit off camera before we started, and I struggle when people are trying to make light of World War II events. So you're seeing that a lot in the culture where, well. First off, I'm going to preface this. Hitler deserved to be put under a jail.
Yeah.
Horrible person, right? That's my political view, if anybody's wondering. He got what he deserved. Whether that's in Argentina or in the bunker, we'll talk about that.
Man, he escaped to the hollow earth. Don't you know?
But what I've seen is people don't like the way what's happened in Gaza. And so people start researching, and they start seeing that Hitler might have had some valid reasons on why he didn't want the Jews in his country, right? And that's the way it starts. And so instead of removing them, he starts doing things, and then it starts going down a dark road.
Killing them.
And then it gets to the point where people are being killed. And the Holocaust needs to be remembered as not just Jews. There are millions of people that weren't Jewish were also killed.
Yep.
First and foremost, Hitler was a murderer. You can't make light of that.
No.
Was he a racist because he killed Jews? He killed everybody. All right.
I mean, you look at Stalin.
I was about to say Stalin, Mao, Cambodia, or you have all these instances where people kill their own people.
Yep.
Evil is evil.
Evil is evil.
He did a lot of horrible things, and the international community held trials and did what they felt they should. It started differently, and that's the problem. People start looking at, okay, well, let's look back in the 30s.
Yeah.
And then they start seeing, well, he had some reasons why he was at difference with them. You have to separate that. Yeah, he might have had some reasons to not like why they were in his country.
Yeah.
But he still killed them. Yeah. So you can't make light of it.
No, you can't. And I think
and you have to be careful. And what's going on is people aren't being careful with that.
No, they aren't. Like I guess it's just the fact of like people are now basically being like, oh, Hitler had a point. It's like, so you're supporting a murderer? It's
Well,
like,
it's like,
crazy.
did he have a point on why he didn't like him in his country? Yeah, he might have.
Maybe. Yeah.
First off,
but
I'm 42. I was born in 83. That was before my time.
yeah.
All I know is this: the man killed a lot of people. He caused a lot of people on not just his side. A lot of Germans died. A lot of French people died. A lot of British people died. A lot of Russians died. A lot of Americans died. Horrible ideas from evil people can never be undone.
No.
You can't sit there and say, well, maybe the Jews pushed it a little far in Germany and he had a reason not to like them. Okay, that doesn't mean death.
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't.
And
mean
anyway,
death.
even if he would have thought that the Jewish people were the problem in Germany or something, right? It's not the Jewish individual.
Yeah.
It's the institutional
Mhm.
Jew in terms of it was, granted, Israel wasn't a country back then, but there was the institutional Judea that controlled banks, that controlled a lot of different monetary systems.
And that's where you start looking at it. People start making sense of things, of why they weren't liked. And while that may be the case, doesn't matter why you don't like anybody.
It doesn't matter, no.
I struggle with, and I know I differ with people on the conservative side. I struggle with, the death penalty. I do. And I know with the Charlie Kirk assassin, people are like, well, he deserves death penalty. And I'm like, I don't know if I could push the button to vote yes on that. And that's me because I value human life. Yeah. And so regardless of whatever reason someone kills someone, I struggle with that. Whether that's a country, whether that's the Christians over in Nigeria right now that's genocide. Cambodia was genocide. What happened in China with Mao, that was genocide. Stalin was genocide. That's all horrible things. The loss of human life, you can't make light of it. You have to be very careful. It's one thing to say he might have had some points at the beginning.
Well, that's
you
probably,
when you start going down that road, you start making it sound like you're okay with people dying. And then people are like, well, we might not know how many people and all this stuff. And it's like, it doesn't matter. People died.
Exactly.
We're 80 or almost 90 years from that.
Which is
80 years or something like that from that. And we need to take the lessons from that and move forward. Exactly. We need to stop arguing over who was right and wrong. People died.
People died. Hitler was one of the worst, evilest, demonic-filled people, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, have you heard the stories of like when he was fighting in World War I, he would hear voices apparently that would tell him to like go hide behind something before a bomb would come?
Yeah.
Like there's demonic influences that have influenced history.
We haven't talked a lot about religion, but when it comes to brief sideline into religion, Christians believe that there's an Antichrist, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Bible says nobody knows when the Antichrist is going to come except for the Father, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't that mean that if people believe this, Satan doesn't know when the Antichrist is going to come? So
that's
do you
a good point.
Think he's going to have someone ready to go at all times?
Probably.
I would say yes.
Because that would make sense. I never thought about that before. Because like,
my head,
why else would you? Yeah, right. Why else would you? Wouldn't you see evil rulers rise up? It's because Satan's trying to groom them potentially to become the Antichrist.
When the time comes, he doesn't know when it is. He has to be prepared.
That's interesting,
and that's a Christian belief, and I know some people don't believe that, and that's fine.
I kind of like that theory,
but it just makes sense. The Bible is true. It says only the Father knows. Okay, Satan doesn't know. Well, he needs to be prepared for the Antichrist. Exactly. So that makes sense to me. That's why you see people rise to power that are horrible people.
Yep.
And they are ready to unite or destroy. Because if they don't unite and become the Antichrist, they're going to destroy.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's kind of my personal thought. We're not going to dive too far.
No, I think it's fascinating though. But like I think the whole thing of what you said though is true though. At the end of the day, people can't blame an ethnic group for their issues.
No.
That's like just think about that. Like, I heard this quote once that said, "We have Neolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology."
Yeah,
and it's because we don't even understand ourselves. So how are we supposed to even use all this stuff before us? How are we even able to actually like change the institutions for the better? And the answer is we can't, because we're all fallen, we're all messed up. And, I mean, as Christians, that's why we obviously, look to Jesus as our savior and as our only saving grace. But we're the only ones that have that hope,
Yeah. Well, we're the only ones, we believe we're the only ones that's right. There's other people that have hope in their religion.
Yeah.
But
It's like a false sense of hope.
They don't know it's a false.
They don't know that, but
in their mind
think
it is
like, oh.
And just like, and they are saying the same thing about Christians, that Christians have a false sense of hope because in their mind we're wrong. So that's why we have to understand that when it comes to what's going on in the world, you can't blaming the Jews for everybody's problems. I mean, you're talking, I don't know how many millions of people, but it's not, they're a small country. Do they have influence? Yes. Do I support them as a military ally? Yes. But blaming them for everybody's problems is ridiculous. It's just like blaming the Muslims for everything that's happened in the last 20 years in the Middle East. It's groups of people with influence that cause problems.
Exactly.
And a lot of the times, those groups of people, some of them are even Americans causing problems overseas.
Exactly.
We could go down a rabbit hole of story.
Have you seen the meme of Iran's missiles and Israel's missiles, and it says, "My tax dollars, also my tax dollars."
Yes. Well, I mean, we funded Iran for years.
Yeah.
And, then it's like, well, what's going on in Iraq? Well, that's our old military equipment. Oh, well, India, Pakistan. Well, who has our planes? That's who we want to win,
Don't you think it's fascinating that it's more expensive to send our military equipment back than making it? that math does not make sense to me at all.
Talking about military equipment, I believe that's one of the reasons why Russia-Ukraine started, is because there was no wars going on really that we were funding or needed to get rid of old equipment to.
Yeah.
Well, Russia-Ukraine happens. Oh, we're sending money left and right. We're sending equipment left and right. People don't realize we're actually not sending money to Ukraine. We're sending military equipment in the dollars to Ukraine. Well, what's going? All of our old stuff.
Yeah. Cold War
stuff. Tell me that wasn't convenient for the last administration to sign those things.
Yep.
And so that's what's happening.
That's the reality. And I love the Pentagon report after we sent all that stuff. They're like, yeah, we don't know where it is now.
No. Well, okay. And it's like, well, let's just leave everything in Iraq, because if we leave it in Iraq, we can write it off and we have to replace it with new. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't want people having that.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. It's technology from like 30 years ago. I was like, yeah, but you're giving them like technology that they've never even seen.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if people don't think our technology is that advanced, we flew 40-year-old B-2 bombers around the world and nobody knew. Nobody knew.
It's insane.
Literally Russia, insane. China, their satellites, their systems, the S-300 systems, our F-22s. People are like, oh, the F-22, it's a 20-year-old platform. The B-2 was made in the 80s.
Imagine all the classified stuff we have. I can't even imagine.
That's a rabbit hole. So there's a YouTuber called Max Afterburner. He used to be a fighter pilot, and he talks about all this stuff. And he's like, and he talks about it with precision because he knows he was a fighter pilot. He flew F-18s.
That's really cool.
And it's really fun to watch him talk about like the B-2 mission. And it's like, yeah, we flew 40-year-old technology, 40 years old. So that's when these were built. That means the technology is older than that. And we flew that around the world, right up against our military adversary with our biggest adversaries, S-300 and S-400 systems.
Yep.
And they didn't have a clue.
No.
Imagine what we're making now. It's a deep rabbit hole.
Have you seen the, I'll say this one thing and then we'll end, but have you seen the commercials for Lockheed Martin and stuff like that? And they make it as if it's like a consumer car or something like that. Like, why is this ad directed towards me?
So go to DC and go across the river to Crystal City there.
Yeah.
And there's Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and you can just walk through there and you're like, the secrets if these buildings could talk about what we have.
Yeah.
And it is amazing to think what we're able to do. The amount of stuff in space and as far ahead of technology, I don't think we have a military.
Forget nukes. Now we have satellites in space that can shoot out missiles.
Yeah. Or railguns. The Navy railgun is insane to talk
I forgot about. Yeah.
And, people worried about Venezuela. And I'm just like, do you have any idea how badly this will go for them? And it's sad because people could die, but
Yeah. But I like how Maduro, I think last weekend, he was just like, we want peace. We want to have unity.
what did he say? He activated some 40 million or 4 million, I believe, reservists to fight the United States. And it's like,
good luck.
there is several thousand Marines out there that are just like, please. And I don't want war. I don't want to see it.
No.
But you have to take out a narco state. You have to stop that from happening.
Exactly. Well, I mean, think about this. Biden, like, started dealing with Maduro first. Of just like when Venezuela's election, I think, 3 years ago happened. Like, there was a lot of consensus to see, like, oh, Maduro's opposition, I forget his name, but he's going to win.
Yeah.
And he would have won if, Maduro wasn't a dictator, but, but.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, Venezuela was the richest nation in the world besides us before Chavez.
Yeah.
And then Maduro, and now people are, there's no animals on the street. The people are starving, or they're barely getting
literally
fed.
terrifying.
And what's going on? Well, the richer get rich, socialism. They think this is a way to balance it out. No, the richer get rich and the poorer just get poorer.
Yep.
And bread lines and all this stuff. And it's like, well, where's the money going? Well, it's all owned by the cartels.
Yes. Well, that's the funniest thing. And this is a discussion that we can have another time, of just the fact that people assume that if you make government big enough, it'll be able to help more people. You know what it becomes? It becomes a giant monster of inefficiency.
Yeah.
That's what it becomes. But with that being said, we could talk like this for hours.
Yes,
but
we could. Absolutely.
thank you, John Davenport, for just coming on the podcast and just chatting with me.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun because, as we were saying before, like, usually my podcasts are very topical and we just talk about a very specific topic, but it's nice to just kind of let loose.
Well,
Talk about whatever.
it's so important to have just normal people talking about normal stuff. Like, you have a podcast, but you're just a normal guy.
I'm just a normal
Like,
guy.
I'm not in politics. I have 3 kids. I'm trying to be a better husband, a better father.
Yeah.
And when it comes to politics, we just need, what's the average American thing?
Yeah,
I'm not
the
super right,
no.
and I don't hate
The funny thing is that
Party,
from our conversation, though, a lot, like the 10% of the Democrat side would say they're racist, they're ultra right, and I'm just like, dude, you don't even know what ultra right is. You don't want to know.
No, that's the part of the problem, is being in the middle now is being ultra right, and that's not
Which
fair.
is like crazy.
It's not fair.
It's not
to
fair.
Most of America.
That's exactly what Joe Rogan and Elon Musk were saying recently about the fact they're like, they were saying like our politics never changed,
It just shifted.
just shifted.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on, and we'll have to do this next time, whenever that will be. Probably in the new year.
Okay.
If
Whenever you want. I'm happy
next
I'm
next
happy to
year,
try it
same
out.
place, same time.
Thank you so much.
Of course.